Boom! We're back with another episode. Fluency Storytelling Series continues today, and I'm going back to the Consumer Society episode that I did on keep versus get rid of, episode 65. If you're interested for the explanations, definitions, and examples regarding that language, ba-bing, it's right over here. I highly recommend, very short and sweet, and a lot of excellent words that you can use on a daily basis, because that's the kind of society that we live in, whether we like it or not. We can try and be minimalist, and that will reduce maybe some of the words that I'm going to share with you today, but generally speaking, these words can be used in many contexts, and I'm going to share with you a story today that will help you see how to use them in that proper context so that maybe you can adapt them into your speaking. Why not? That's what fluency is all about. So stay tuned, because right after this intro, it's storytelling time. Okay, welcome back. Nan the CSL Trailblazer here. Remember, you can subscribe to the channel or click on the link below where you can sign up for the monthly newsletter. That will keep you updated on the videos as well as the blog posts that are about teaching and new lesson ideas. Okay, without further ado, let's get on with this fluency storytelling episode about get rid of and keep. So the story that I want to share with you today is when I actually was traveling for the first time with my backpack through Europe. I was in my early 20s. This was back in like 2000s, early 2000s, and I didn't have internet. It wasn't very popular yet to have a smartphone because they didn't really exist. And I had no idea what I was doing. So what did I do? I stockpiled and hoarded a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't really need. And I realized that very quickly, because on my first destination, which was Berlin, I got out of the train station and I was already exhausted within 5 minutes of carrying all this stuff that one individual, me, thought that I would need for my backpacking journey through Europe. So first mistake, I hoarded way too much stuff, mostly clothing and a few other items that became very apparently quickly that I didn't need. So after that, what did I have to do? I started dumping certain things along the journey. Okay, so with my guidebook, I would rip pages out of the guidebook because it was as thick as a Bible, like a reference book, and that helped make the book lighter and lighter with each destination I went to. Another thing I did was I just left clothes behind. I abandoned the clothes. You can use the word abandon or dump here. Okay, so I think I would use both, because in many situations I just I didn't dispose of them. I abandoned them in the hostels, which meant that somebody else could use them. Okay, abandon means when you leave something and it's still good to be used by somebody else. It's been like left there. Okay, it's not for garbage. All right, the clothes were perfectly good. I just couldn't carry them all anymore. Okay. Also, while I was traveling, I was buying constantly food and stockpiling on water and certain like snacks that I would have for long journeys, especially train journeys overnight, so that I wouldn't go hungry. And I had to discard of all the wrappers and all the trash that accumulated through a train ride overnight or while I was walking through the city. And I did this, of course, responsibly, because I was raised that way, to make sure that I throw my garbage away properly, discard it appropriately in the bins when I was visiting the cities. I was impressed actually, because certain cities provided different bins for when you wanted to discard plastic, paper, aluminum, I think that was the extent of it there. Okay, but I constantly was discarding my garbage because I just didn't have room to carry it around, obviously. Okay, but I also made sure to maintain the clothes and the shoes that I already had. And that meant like not overwashing too often and keeping them nice and folded and neat in my bag so that they wouldn't get very wrinkled and look bad when I was wearing them. That's a kind of maintenance for your clothes, making sure you fold them and keep them in good condition and not overwash them, because then the fabric falls apart and it stretches and it gets destroyed, okay? I also had to like conserve my energy on a daily basis because I was walking through a lot of European cities and from train station to hostel. So I did that by like taking breaks in between, and also I conserved the food and the water that I was buying because I needed time to exchange money and buy that stuff in a new country that I was visiting, and I didn't always know what time the shops would be open or where those shops were and how available how available the items that I wanted were. Okay, so I was conserving energy and I was conserving my food and I was conserving my water so that I wouldn't risk running out. Okay, finally, I also, what else did I do? I'm trying to think off the top of my head anything else here that I have on my list. I think that's all, to be honest. I never did any dumping, which is what you do when you're irresponsibly throwing things away. I mean, like I said before, I was being responsible with that. And I didn't really do any preserving. I wanted to use this word for you, but like in this story, it doesn't really fit. Again, you preserve food mostly, or you preserve items that you want to keep through old age because they have some nostalgia or some memento or some sentimental value. So I guess I can say that looking back now, I have preserved a lot of souvenirs from that trip, like tickets and vouchers from the trains and the museums and the places I went, again, for sentimental value. That's my story. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've got more coming. Stay tuned for that. Subscribe, as I always said. Share if you care. And please leave a comment in some of these videos to let me know what you think of the Fluency Storytelling, because this is a new series that I've just started. Thank you for your viewership. Till next time. See ya.